Welcome back, fellow truth seekers, to another adventure into the world of the unexplained. In tonight's episode, I delve into the eerie realm of encounters with dogman-like cryptids. Brace yourselves as I unveil a compilation of real reports from brave individuals who've come face to face with these mysterious creatures, bound by fear and curiosity. Get ready to unravel the enigma surrounding dogman encounters that will leave you questioning the boundaries of your reality. Number 1. Vidor, Texas. 20-year-old Bobby Bussinger got brave one Monday night and decided to confront what North Tram Road residents are calling a werewolf. By the light of a full moon, he took his 12-gauge shotgun and walked to the back edge of his cleared lot. To his surprise, the erect form described to be taller than 6 feet, with long, shaggy hair and a muscular body, didn't scare away. It actually came towards him. He shot in panic as he turned and ran back towards his house. He barely made it, he said. Then he called the sheriff's office. Bobby and his 18-year-old wife, Becky, have lived at the house at 3925 North Tram Road for 14 weeks. It's owned by her father. The couple has only been married a short time. They moved there 2 weeks after the wedding. Bussinger works as a laborer for a construction crew at the Goodyear Synthetic Rubber Company near Beaumont. They knew when they moved into the area that previous tenants had left because of strange occurrences during the night. An elusive figure is said to roam the area, clawing at the window screens, howling and yelping like a wounded dog. It wasn't that bad at first, Becky said from the safety of her parents' Beaumont home. But Sunday night. Deputy Sheriff Jack Reeves picks up the story there. It was Reeves who responded at 11:30 to the prowler call. The Bussingers told him that Sunday night 3 of their dogs were believed killed. The hind quarters of 2 were maimed, and the dogs died. 1 is still missing. All 3 are puppies of a mixed breed, part of the 8 dogs the young couple kept on the property. Monday night after sundown, as the moon moved into full phase, they heard a commotion, like a good-sized dogfight, Reeves said. There was banging on the walls of the house, rapping on the windows, heavy footfalls were heard outside, and an eerie, barking, yelping filled the air. This story was originally printed in the Orange County Historical Society paper in 1978. Number 2. Massachusetts woman encounters vicious dogman in local cave. I usually walk on a trail near my house on Massachusetts' South Shore between Boston and Cape Cod. I don't know if this particular place has a name. I usually feel safe, even as a woman hiking alone. I grew up in this area, so it's not like it's in the city or anything. A few months ago, on a weekday late afternoon, I was walking along the trail. First, it just started sprinkling, but then it came pouring down with thunder and lightning. I was more afraid of the lightning than anything. It was too far to run back to where I was parked, so there were a lot of giant rocks in this area. I saw this rock overhang off to the right up the trail. It was hollowed out behind it, a small cave or something. I wasn't about to go into a cave, but I thought I could at least stand under the overhang and not get wet. So I'm standing there, waiting for the rain to slow. I just had a feeling like something was watching me, because the hair on the back of my neck started to stand up. I felt compelled to turn around and look behind me into the darkness. At first, I didn't see anything. There are no bears or wolves in this area. If something was living in that cave, then it was probably just a small animal. At least, that's what I told myself. But when I was staring into the darkness, I saw the shadows shift. I knew something was in there. It didn't look like it could be very big, though at the time I really couldn't see very much. The rain was still coming down in sheets, and the sky had gotten really dark. I stood watching the lightning strikes, and a few of them were really close. But between the loud thunderclaps, I heard it. There was a nasty sound, like a wet sound of something eating and lips smacking. I turned back around to look in there, but I couldn't see what it was. Then the smell hit me. I guess the wind changed. It smelled rancid, like a dead raccoon on the side of the road. It made me gag. I turned back to the woods to see if there might be another overhang a short distance away. It was obvious that there was some kind of animal eating another dead animal in this cave, and I just wanted to put some distance between me and it. I took another couple steps away from the cave, and now I was getting wet from the rain. I didn't see any other place to go. Then, all at once, I heard a sound behind me, like rocks clattering. I turned around to look. The shadow of the thing inside was rising, and I realized all at once that this creature was not small like I had thought. It had been crouched down, and now it was standing. It must have been around 6 feet tall, standing up on its hind legs, and it totally took me by surprise. I froze for a second when I realized it was like something out of a nightmare. It had a face like a dog with a snout, only it was a man, a big man, covered in fur. I could see dog ears on its head, too. I screamed and stumbled. I almost fell down the hill, and that's when it growled, just like a dog about to attack. I really thought I was going to die. I'm getting goosebumps just remembering it. I took off running, feeling like my life was in danger. Thank God it didn't follow me. Of course, no one has believed this story, but then I looked it up on the internet and saw that people posting about this thing. They were calling it a dogman. That report is from Minnesota. Number 3. Eyewitness reports a wolfman roaming Sleepy Hollow, New York. A group of friends is walking through the woods near Sleepy Hollow, New York. They started to notice that they're being followed by a black, upright canine. They had had other encounters with this wolfman before. My friend Matt lived on the corner of South Carpenter in Sleepy Hollow, New York. His house was surrounded by woods, and they had well water. His neighbors owned cows, horses, and many acres of land. Matt's sister was a medium and was able to communicate with spirits. She was kind of gothic and had a strange group of friends, to be fair. During one birthday party, a group of goths came back terrified. They said they had seen a witch in the woods. At first, they saw an old lady from a distance, and it seemed like she was lost and looking for something. They approached her, eager to help. They stepped closer and went to reach for her shoulder when she began laughing. She turned around and petrified the group. Most of the people thought the group was lying, but Matt knew his sister could tell the kids were serious, too. They were actually scared, and the forest they were in was a labyrinth of spooky trees. It would be easy to get turned around. Later that year, this is what happened. Matt, Bill, and I were hiking during the winter months. There wasn't snow on the ground, but the air sure was cold. We were bundled up and didn't plan on going very far. But of course we followed the trail, and it led us to a place we could never imagine. I was following Matt, but he wasn't the best with directions. We were in a thick forest that we had never explored before. We continued trekking onward, searching desperately for familiar territory. It was getting dark. Finally, we heard cars. We made it to the road and saw it with Sleepy Hollow. I thought it was funny and antagonized Bill and Matt about the Headless Horseman, but they were a little younger than me and started to cry because they were scared. It should have been straightforward to make it back to the house using the roads, but sadly, we didn't make the best decisions. Matt was oblivious to the surrounding streets and directions and was clueless about how to get us back. I remember the route my dad used very vaguely and attempted to lead us. There were no sidewalks, so we walked on the ditch alongside the forest. After a while, Bill ran ahead of me. He said something was back there. Something was following us. I didn't believe him and stopped walking. I looked back and saw that he wasn't lying. There was just some kind of black, upright dog walking right behind us. We started to jog, and so did the canine. Matt and Bill were faster than me. I told them to run ahead and I would get this thing away from us. By that point, I had a general idea of where I was. So I made a beeline to the forest and caught the trail. I couldn't see much, but the trees paved the way for me. I had no visual of the dog anymore, but I knew it had to be on my trail. After what felt like forever, I could hear the commotion from Matt's family's party. The flames from the bonfire peeked through the trees, and I felt relief. I moved toward the tree line and suddenly went barreling into the ground. My foot had caught a root, and I was badly scraped up. With my hands and knees bleeding, I rolled over in slow motion, and my life flashed before my eyes. I heard something crashing down the path about 30 yards away from me. I hopped to my feet and went straight through the briars and branches, leaping to the illuminated grass. I made it to the fire, and the creature, luckily, left the darkness. Matt and Bill were already sitting on their mom's lap, telling the story. My parents were happy to see I was still alive, but really not surprised at all. The adults saw my wounds and gasped, and I told them the werewolf had chased me. Years later, my friend Alex moved nearby. He had 2 encounters with what he called a wolfman. Once, he and his 2 sisters saw a large, lichen creature cross the road and scale a deep hill within seconds. His other encounter was with me. We saw a pair of eyes out his patio window in the woods. It was the scariest night of my life, and I never slept over there again. We tried to sleep in the basement, but had to go upstairs because we got scared. Signed GL, Sleepy Hollow, New York. And there it is, all I have for tonight. As we reach the end of our adventure, I hope you've been captivated and unsettled by these bone-chilling tales of encounters with dogman-like cryptids. Remember, the world is brimming with unexplained phenomena, and it's up to us to uncover the truth. If you've ever encountered a similar creature or have any insight, please share your story in the comments down below. And join me next time as we venture further into the uncharted territories of the unexplained. Until then, stay vigilant, stay safe, and keep seeking the unexplained. And I'll be seeing you a little further on down the road. Biker out.